everybody, and thank you for tuning in. Today, we're going to, I guess, do a thought experiment on the Bitcoin chart. Currently, we're on the BLX, just the most, uh, has the most price data compared to any other of the Bitcoin charts. But as we near the all-time high, I guess some questions arise is, well, when are we going to get there? When are we going to break it? And there are quite a few different theories to that, and I'd like to go through at least a few of them, or at least I believe the most popular ones, and kind of determine their probabilities uh, and try to visualize it on this chart. So right now, um, we would have to first consider, well, how what are the factors that will determine a likely $20,000 Bitcoin again? Well, one of them is that we're going to have to be in some form of a bull market. The amount of capital required to bring the price up another, well, it's around 13,000. Bitcoin's up, I believe, about 2% today, but that data is not in here yet. But even still, bring it close to $7,000 more is going to take a lot of money, a lot more money than compared to down here in the last bull cycle and that previous all-time high, which was about 1150, and we're coming from a low of like 250, that 230. The required capital to take Bitcoin from 230 to 1150 compared to we can even say the lows of here of $4,000 all the way up to $20,000. You can imagine, the differences that we're really in a different league here, and that the latter is going to require a lot more capital. However, one of the ways to indicate that we're in a bull market is the 20 weekly moving average. As you can see here in the last one, we have consistently used even before we reach the all-time high, when you can see points of contact with the 20-week here and here. And that's what helped us propel us to the 20-weekly, the prior all-time high. And then we moved on to make newer highs. So what we can see here is that Bitcoin just recently has made contact with the 20-week moving average, and in the first time in a long time, we made it support and we moved up, which is a very good sign. If that were to continue, eventually the price will continue to bounce off or stay above the 20 weekly moving average because the price is rising. The 20-week it will continue to start trending up, forcing the price to move higher, thus reaching the $20,000 Bitcoin. However, there are many different theories on how fast we're going to get there. One theory is that we are going to make it by end of year. We are currently in October, end of October, beginning of November, and 2021 is right here, where that line is. So okay, yeah, there we go. So if we were to essentially, and I scoff at this because to me it sounds absurd, but just to visually show it, if we were to drive the price from where it is right now all the way to 20%. Actually, let me take date and price range. Take it from today and make it to the $20,000 mark. We're going to need to increase the Bitcoin price by 50% in 70 days. That's insane. I mean, even looking at the last pump, where were we in 70 days? we essentially increased by 26% in around 70 days or so. Um, the only other case is here, where we dropped dramatically, and we can then determine, well, what was the price like. Well, we increased 151%, but I would contend that the only reason why the price shot up so quickly was because Bitcoin was heavily undervalued at the time. That stark that stark drop in February and March, and it was so dramatic, and it became Bitcoin became extremely undervalued, and so a lot of buyers came in and pretty much slingshot the price back up to what it was pre fall, essentially. So um, I would really find it hard to believe it's not convincing that we are going to reach $20,000 by the end of the year. It's simply too much money in a short amount of time. It's just extremely unrealistic. And even if we did, say for example, reach $20,000 within 70 days, I would strongly, I would think that we're gonna find it as rejection. Like we're gonna get rejected from that level and come back down to more reasonable prices, um, following that, and then still continue to trend up. The second thought would be a more slower pace. Now, there is the theory of lengthening cycles. I, for one, do believe that as well. Um, there's individuals in the space like Data Dash or Benjamin Cohen, who I really, really admire, and almost kind of inspired me to make the videos that I'm making, to make a more reasonable approach. I mean, he uses data science to back his theories, but in essence, I really believe that rationality is kind of lacking in our space, and there are proponents of the lengthening cycle, and I would agree as well. And you can even look at the 20-week right here. It's not going like 90 degrees up. It's not going straight up, and it's not even as much of an angle as what we were, say here, for example. That would, for me, indicate that I would believe that Bitcoin will continue for the till the end of the year, and into 2021 at this more slower increase, kind of, and going over these levels, creating support, then breaking upwards, making a new level, and then making that support, so on and so forth. Um, and the naturally the weekly moving average, 20 weekly moving average, will still trend upwards. I mean, either theory, it's that the idea is to go up, um, and looking at what the moving average is doing right now, and we can only assume that it will continue at this same pace. Um, Let me bring the 20 week here. So that's our level. That's where we need to make it. So, um, the weekly moving average is going to move up to meet where the prices kind of deviate, kind of keep going, levels off, and actually, you know what? I kind of drew that kind of badly. The idea is that it's slowly going to trend upwards and kind of deviate, and then that's where I suspect where we're gonna be. The moving average is gonna be at around maybe $18,000, but that's enough, um, of a price for the moving average to then consider that is around the time when Bitcoin, um, is going to break 20K, or at least meet it. And we can even even at this point, the resistance at 20K might, I would suspect, be pretty fierce, and we might even level off here. And when that happens, the price is going to naturally go up, hit, down, go up, kind of oscillate, and then break through. And then that's when the real party begins, I guess. But I looking at this looks a lot more reasonable than reaching $20,000 by the end of the year. I mean, again, 70 days. That's a little over 2 months. And just think in your past, in any circumstance of Bitcoin, breaking these extreme resistances in 2 months. I mean, I'm pretty sure the funniest ones were during the bear market when Bitcoin was at $6,000 and everyone was saying that Bitcoin is gonna stay here. There's no way it's gonna go down. The level's very strong, and that went on for 147 days, and then it dropped. So these stark moves, I would contend that it takes a lot longer than what people are hoping for. And I mean, regardless on what happens, I do believe that the drawing that I have here right now is what's most likely going to happen. But don't be mistaken. I'll gladly accept the $20,000 Bitcoin by the end of the year. I'm long on Bitcoin, so whether it hits 20K in 70 days or next year, I'm all for it. I don't see why there has to be an argument in between, but it's time to act reasonable in this space, because the prices are gonna start acting irrational. And you got to really hunker down and brace for it, or you're just going to get caught up in the price and kind of be stuck in the weeds, so to speak, and you won't be able to make heads or tails, and that's a good way to lose your money. So price is looking good. We're trending upwards. That is the best part of all of this, and we can only hope for the best on how Bitcoin's price is going to move. But I would strongly recommend everyone to zoom out and look at the bigger picture and think with it with just a hair of rationality and kind of patience. Patience is key, especially in these times. And although everyone wants to make a lot of money, not everyone's going to be making a lot of money in a short amount of time. Things take time. But that's all I really wanted to talk to you about today. Thank you all for watching. If you liked the video, hit the like button down below. If you really liked it, hit subscribe, and I will see you next time. Take care.